Great. Recording is on. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Um, so I don't have too big an agenda today, but there's several new people attending, so I'd be happy to add maybe a bit of introduction if anybody's willing to kind of go around, say who they are and what drew their interest here and what they hope to do going forward.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 2 minute. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi everybody. I'm a new member of the community. So I live in Paris. I'm a French student. Um, I made my studies in a school which the name of the school is 42. If you have the knowledge of that school. And I'm interested in Multicast for streaming, video streaming, and other kind of utilization. I'm mostly interested in the code part or the architecture of the program that we will have to program and to make available for the web standard. I don't know what to say more because I do not have a lot of vocabulary in English yet. So
Thank you,
I
Leo.
think that's all.
Excellent. I can also introduce myself to those of you who haven't seen me. I'm Jake Holland. I've been working on Multicast. I think I haven't talked directly yet with Dom before. I didn't see your picture, so I don't remember if I know you. I'm sorry.
Hold on, I'm in a scruffy mood, so there you
No
go.
worries. It's
Hold on.
you don't have to show your picture. It's all good.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm not shy. Hi. There you go.
Okay, hi. Great. Yeah, so please let's yeah.
I'm going to turn it off though because I can't. Otherwise, I've got to hold my arm out all the time. So, yeah, just I suppose a few words of introduction and just I was interested very much in multicast in the early 2000s. Built a CDN with a chap called Tony Bellardi, who was one of the sort of early inceptors of AMT, and he ended up very focused on MBGP as a central part of the networking for our peering strategy at London Internet Exchange in the early 2000s, and we were focused on driving all our live traffic across access networks, and getting IGMP out to the access routers and blah blah blah, and doing all that sort of stuff. It was great fun for 9 years, and then we couldn't deal with the onslaught of the big US CDNs arriving in the UK, so I switched to selling streaming software, and that's what I do today. But was enthralled through a sustainability project to hear Jake's name and made a connection, and hence I'm here. So I'm curious to know what you guys are up to and where multicasting's gone over the last decade, really.
I remember. Great. Good to have you here. Thank you. Max, you want to jump in?
Yeah, sure. Wait, does my camera work? Yeah, there you go. Hi, I'm Max. I'm now a PhD student at TU Berlin. I first met Jake like 3 years ago now at ITF through Tabs, which he tried to use as a way to deliver multicast. That didn't work out so good, I guess. But it was a good thing because I met him and implemented AMI, one of the protocols or the drafts he has. And now I'm just trying to focus on multicast during my PhD studies, right? So anything related to that, I'm looking into that, and I'm also hoping to like bring it more to the students and stuff. So we hope to have like a student project next semester about multicast and also make it maybe part of our lectures and stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Excellent, thanks. Kyle?
I'm Kyle Rose. I'm an architect at Akamai. I work somewhat with Jake. I'm also the one of the co-chairs of the media operations working group at IETF, and I have my job since I moved organizations about a year or so ago is to, you know, like essentially be an architect for strategic initiatives around the company, and one of them I work at Akamai with Jake, as I said, and one of them is Multicast. So I've been trying to spend time on this. It's hard with all the other crap that I'm working on as well, but anyway.
Well, thanks, Kyle. Chris Needham? Sure.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Chris. I work for the BBC in the UK. We are certainly interested in multicast distribution, you know, for live video content. I'm not particularly a multicast specialist myself. I'm mostly active at W3C in web standards there. So I'm a co-chair of a interest group which looks at new sort of media related applications on the web, and also a co-chair of the media working group, which is standardizing a bunch of APIs for media streaming and related things like media source extensions, encrypted media extensions, media capabilities, and so on. And kind of met Jake through his work on building a Chrome prototype implementation. I think that's how it first came to my sort of attention, that the work was doing here. And then we've tried to set up a collaborative relationship between the W3C and the work that Jake's doing in the IETF to try to bring this to web browsers.
Yeah, Chris's help was instrumental in getting this community group kicked off. So yeah, thanks for that, and all his great work here at W3C. Yeah, Chris Leonard. You're willing and able.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. Yeah, I'm Chris Leonard. I work for Verizon. Been talking to Jake for a few months now, maybe going back to middle of last year. But I guess sort of kind of, I'm the multicast guy within Verizon, so I'm just trying to keep up with the different technologies around, and I'm also very interested in a lot of this browser work, because I think it's going to be very important as a way to get more ubiquitous support among different clients, especially in the home. So really trying to follow the work and you know, do what I can to help as far as discussing it at least, and then also just, you know, kind of participating on the sidelines to see what's coming up and what might be useful in my company, and, you know, talking within the industry with other companies and other participants and standards bodies to kind of, you know, keep it moving forward.
Great. Yes, thank you very much. Thanks everyone for being here and for your intros. That was great. So I just had a few things that were kind of put down as being what's on my mind this session. And I guess the first of these I had down as the just I started off on the multicast quick, trying to poke into the code a bit and figure out what's going on. I feel like I haven't gotten very far yet. You know, I'm getting my head around the code there. If anybody has, you know, advice on alternatives on that, I'm very open to suggestions there. But you know, so far I've just, you know, I found the place where UDP sockets are opened. I'm gonna have to put something in there, because when you're sending multicast, you have to set the TTL, and when you're receiving multicast, you're gonna have to you know, do a sock for it. So you know, and what else? I'm trying to figure out like where the right place is to put the frame. There's going to be frames for you know, negotiating support for this, for advising a receiver to join a particular group, as well as the sort of multipath based like hacking of a different packet number space. I wish I could find I kind of wish the multipath work was a little further along and published. I haven't been able to find an implementation yet. That is the one that they're currently trying to work on. So if anybody knows about that stuff, then yeah, send it my way, or if you encounter it. But outside that, I'm just starting to plug along on that. Let's see. Any, I guess, comments or questions on that point? I don't know yet whether I'm gonna hit the July deadline, but I'm hopeful that in a couple of weeks I'll have something kind of starting to run. We'll see. This last indeed had some distraction on the, from doing the sort of more important work of moving the deployment conversations forward. Those also are slow. It's not like I have things that are public to say about it, but they are moving, and it is very, very important to this project that they do move. So so that interrupts this quick work whenever it happens. But other than that, I am trying to get the quick working because that is the way forward in the browser, I think, as far as I know.
Can I ask a naive question and just ask for a sort of one paragraph description of the sort of workflow, the quick
Yeah.
browser capability with where's the multicast source? Are we talking on LAN? Is it? Sorry, just a naive question.
No, that's actually I really should have included the link to the proto draft that we're gonna be pulling forward, which I will include now in the notes. Or in the So here's the link in the chat. There are a few paragraphs in there. So just a little background. The multicast work that I've been doing is about ingesting multicast from an external source. So if you look at RFC 8777, this is the Dryad spec, which is of course a built acronym out of DNS reverse IP for AMT relay discovery, I think, something like this. So the idea is that when there is a SSM join given to a network, the goal is to end up with multicast IP over the last mile into homes. Okay, because that is where the big pain point is that can't really be solved in another way. And so that last mile, this is like in your GPON fan out kinds of deployments, or in your cable loop deployments, you can get multicast data to be shared between all the local receivers in a loop, right? So today, where you've got your 10 megabit video stream, when you're watching the World Cup or something, and there's a 10 megabit video stream to, let's say, 80% of the homes in an ISP, then each one of those homes is getting this unicast stream delivered to them. And if you can do that by multicast over that last mile, then the entire space of that can be shared. Like all the data that can be transmitted to everyone can just take up that 110 megabit stream on the physical connection. And so that's the goal that we want to realize with this.
And is the principle to tunnel with Quick? Or
no,
is it a native multi? All right.
It would be native IP multicast, and the idea would be, so the idea with Quick, there's another draft that was from the BBC about HTTP over Quick multicast. This one is a sort of evolution of that. that tries to put it at the next lower layer so that there's quick frames that do the multicast negotiation. But the idea is to do something like multipath, where there is a unicast anchor, but in that unicast anchor stream, the server will tell the client about alternate sources of data, and those sources of data being a multicast IP stream that the client can
Sweet.
join.
Got it. Nice.
And then and then the anchor unicast stream will be used for all the security all the security guarantees that apply to the data received on the other layer. But you're going to try and get all the data that you can into that multicast stream, or all the data share into that multicast stream. Right. So that's the basic idea. And that's
Brilliant.
where we're trying to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a road. I don't know. I guess you probably haven't been following. We had a if you follow that link and read through it, you'll find the security considerations document that we presented in November at IETF at the SecDispatch working group to see if we could get some discussion kicked off. I guess my summary interpretation is that most of the web security people are basically not very interested in multicast. I think what they, this is my interpretation, but I think they do not think that it's plausible that it will end up working. And therefore it's not worth spending their time on it. I think people who are more sort of performance oriented tend to see the value in getting multicast to work. That's kind of where I'm coming from in my background. But there are some security challenges, and there are some fundamental security challenges that have to do with the sharing of the data. Especially in terms of privacy, is where people have kind of expressed the most hesitancy. We tried to capture that discussion in the that's the draft K-Rose multicast security, and I think that does a pretty good job of covering the issues and giving our take on it. I think the one review we got from Ecker did not really highlight a lot in the way of technical objections. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, Kyle. I think we had a couple of like, oh yeah, we should add that point.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that sounds right.
But at the same time, the real objection was like, yeah, but the browsers aren't interested in this. And I think that is somewhat true, which is why we're trying to get some deployment without getting to the browsers yet. But on the flip side of that is that in order for this to really meet the needs of the internet in the long term, it's going to have to support web traffic somehow. To sort of give the incentive for ISPs to do that work of rolling it out. You got any opinions on that, Chris? Because I think that's kind of my summary take on what the ISPs are going to think of this. But not necessary. I think yeah. If you disagree, do please chime in. But that's my basic position there. Right. So the
That's cool.
Sorry.
Just saying thank you. That was great. That was really informative. Just to get the big picture.
No, it's a good question. Absolutely. And yeah, take a look at those drafts and see if there's anything there.
Lots to read. Yeah, it's good.
Yes, there is. All right. So I guess any other questions or comments on that part?
Just a different question. What's the status of the HTTP over quick draft? Because I saw it's expired. So is there, I tend to keep that going, or do you know?
I don't. I think that so I did talk to Lucas, and he was going to join me on this quick one. Spoke a little bit with the other authors as well of the HTTP multicast. They had been keeping it alive for some time. I think you know, I don't have like a really good solid answer from the other authors on the HTTP quick multicast, so I don't really know the intention. My From what I've heard so far, I think they're supportive of the direction of moving it down a layer. That they think it'll solve the same kinds of problems. And with the removal of HTTP push from the browsers, getting this into web transport, you know, nobody has disagreed yet that that's a good approach to getting this done. You know, I think one day if we do get this deployed, then maybe push will come back, because I do think it's going to be useful, but it'll probably have to be done in the web app layer for a while through web transport, because they don't just take out push and then put it back in another year later. So yeah, any did that answer your question? So I don't know the status, I guess, is my answer.
Thanks.
Sure.
And the second, just you want to try to implement the demo or the prototype for the quick multicast in Chromium right away?
Well, at least in the quiche, in the Google quiche quick library.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I'm not opposed to getting it elsewhere as well. You know, I think it would be useful to get like a Rust thing going. That's another point. Maybe we should track that that bug you opened, Max, on Rust.
Yes, I thought I would take a look at getting it into socket 2, like in the crate, at least. But yeah, we should follow up on that.
Do you have the link to that ready to hand? Maybe we could add it to the
I
minutes.
can find it. Yeah, I find it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Max noticed in some of his Rust work that that the current Rust socket API only has support for ASM multicast, so he's looking at adding SSM multicast as well, and that would make it more reasonably possible to port into like the Firefox implementation. I think so. That's certainly a worthwhile thing to add, but I think it'll be more work as well. We'd want to get the quick running somewhere. Yeah, I'm not. The only reason I look at Chrome so hard is just because their deployment footprint. But I think neither Firefox nor Chrome is particularly interested, so it doesn't really matter which one. It's not like doing it in one or the other makes it more likely to deploy. We're going to have to get the ball rolling through demonstrating that ISPs are willing to do the forwarding first, I think.
And Jake, I didn't get a chance to answer a little bit earlier when you were talking about kind of the ISP perspective, but you know, I do agree that web traffic is going to be critical. And you know, whether it's in a browser, kind of what you're talking about now about quick and multicasting, kind of like a standalone app, and kind of doing like a prove it thing even with real traffic. I mean, all those are good steps to, you know, one, getting attention by kind of doing the prove it thing, but regardless of what the client is from an ISP perspective, you know, I can get the bits across, but I can't, or I don't have as much control over, you know, what's in the home, especially in kind of the over the top kind of world where, you know, the client could be a tablet, a laptop, a TV, a smart TV. It could be one of our devices, and that's really, you know, all, you know, I really have say in. But any kind of client or intermediate device and software that, you know, can sit on the edge of our network and help be the endpoints, then yeah, you know, that's all. That definitely helps me as far as moving forward with what I need to do. And then, you know, as you said, having the capability of doing web traffic is probably going to be a big step to getting the best coverage as well.
Yep. Yeah, there are other important platforms, especially with the software delivery kind of angle. But for video, I think web is really critical, especially when you count that a lot of the smart TVs, really what they're doing inside is with access to the web browser, JavaScript APIs and such. So that's like a lot of times those apps you see on the smart TVs are, you know, an implementation of of essentially what's like a web app in a constrained environment kind of a thing. Not strictly, but I think that's the way the wind seems like it's blowing in that space, as far as I can tell. And one day they'll probably start updating those more regularly too, just because of all the security issues. But the ones that are running now apparently are somewhat behind and don't auto update, but or at least don't auto update very frequently. But
this is a whole debate in itself. Yeah.
It's yes. Yeah, if you have anything to add to that. My view on it is a little fuzzy, a little secondhand, but that is my understanding roughly. Right. So I guess the main. What else did we have? So you expressed an interest in the AMT work. I threw that in there. It was my work at the IETF hackathon. I guess that was what, 2 weeks ago. Did you have any questions about that? Because we do use it in a lot of the sort of here's how you set it up so that you can pull external traffic kinds of demos.
It's just it was really interesting as you circulated the papers, and I was trying to you know, get tuned into what the group was focused on, seeing AMT there, and Tony and I had Tony Bellardi and I had a very close relationship with AMT, trying to work out how to get around the access routers not having IGMP v3 available, and so we sort of built a tunnel, an auto tunneling system, which then would relay multicast into a LAN basically, and have a nomination signaling system. It was all kind of, you know, variants of it would look like Octoshape and other technologies like that a little bit later.
So you really,
yeah, I had a real close interest in it. We were trying to deliver it as a browser plugin. So it's really interesting hearing what you were just talking about 5 minutes ago and thinking, God, that was 2006. We were trying to do that. So it's a little bit Windows Media being the baseline at that point.
right. So that approach would not actually solve the last mile problem, right? That would be like you're running AMT over the last mile because you put
it was a pragmatic solution, because we as fast as we got ISPs to peer with us in the exchange and manage their routers to do the IGMP v2 and v3 forwarding, some CTO would change and come in and go, I don't know what that is, it's not vanilla enough, turn it off. So and it's complex.
Yeah, the approach we're taking now is actually the main reason I'm interested in AMT is to run it at the ingest of the ISP. So the idea is that
yeah, perfect.
we've gone and made it. Again, you might be interested in another link that I didn't include this time, but the multicast receiver platform. So I can grab that. seed platform. I have this. This is what we've trialed with a bunch of ISPs that have been evaluating our stuff. And the idea is that you put the multicast ingest platform in your network where you want it to be native multicast from there down toward end users, right? So I have a couple of these in my house south of my Wi-Fi home router, but the other main place to run it is like in a real ISP where you have a real multicast network that goes from there. So the idea is that you deploy these, and then it's sort of like I think of it in terms of more like a HTTP for multicast in a sense, where it's just you don't worry about what the stream is. You don't you know you don't have to care where it came from. You can discover where your tunnel should be open to based on the joins that you receive through your network. So that has a sample network to instructions for how to set up a sample network, and just ways to run to pull multicast in as long as the sender has set up the sort of right infrastructure to advertise that can be discovered by that ingest platform. Happy to talk more about that at some point.
Awesome.
It's
Did you guys explore beer?
yeah. So I'm certainly aware of beer, and I'm looking at it. To me, beer is great for the ISP that's doing the ingest. Is kind of the way I look at that.
Right.
It really helps the management of that multicast network, of that multicast capable network. I think of it as a walled garden. There are some efforts to open that up so that you can have like the BIFRs and the BEFRs not part of the same domain, but I'm not sure how that's going to go exactly. I don't know what the trust model on that looks like really.
Right. Yeah.
It's I mean that is possible, but it's like another kind of peering, I think. Which is anyway, yeah, beer what beer really buys you is that you don't need the hop by hop state when you're doing the in the network that's doing the forwarding. So yeah, we do mention beer to the ISPs we're talking to, and sort of I think it's going to be really helpful for the future of multicast and how things get deployed. But that to me is like as Akamai providing like traffic, we stand up a way to ingest traffic, and then an ISP will ingest it, and then what they do with it is kind of up to them.
Up to them, yeah.
But beer is a very good way to do the delivery, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be like a lot of the ISPs that look at this will end up doing that. But outside that, I haven't dug into beer very deeply. I'm just like any multicast support would be great. But yeah, I think
Greg Shepard would probably be good to get fired up.
Yeah.
He's always a fan for this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think beer does provide really good value. But but to me, whether like on that last mile where it's critical to do the multicasting, it doesn't really matter whether it's beer and those home gateways are like BFERs, or whether it's multicast and the home gateways are just IGMP proxies or something, MLD proxies. So, but yeah, either way is fine as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, yeah, beer's great, but not critical to the question of interdomain multicast. Although ISPs that do it should look at it. Yeah. Right. Let's see. What else did we have on the agenda? Any questions on that front, the AMT or? We had a question about should we update our getting started doc? I'm not sure anybody's actually read it or used it yet. Chris and I worked on it.
I'll be a guinea pig then. I'll be a guinea pig.
Yeah, sure. We'd love to have feedback on that. That's in the actually my browser releases are a little behind, but here that's under primers. Here I'll add the link to the chat. Yeah, Dom, if you want to take a look and give us feedback on the getting started page, and especially so the question here, because the AMT gateway that we put in a couple weeks ago mean that we could now include some instructions for IPv6. That might be worthwhile. I have an IPv6 sender running that can be used for pulling some of that traffic. But you know, I'm not sure how critical it is, especially with kind of. But I think it is important to have good entry points for people coming into this, and I think that's one of them. We probably also, Max, do you think you sent me the link and I said I haven't yet. You had an intro to multicast document. I think we should perhaps add a link to that in our primers. What do you think? Is it?
Sure, yeah. I
Yeah?
think
Okay.
Let me give it a pass, I guess. But yeah, we can edit, sure. If you want to add the PDF version or I don't know which one, because I think the link to overleaf might not be the best way to do it.
Perhaps, yeah.
So
Sure. Could you let's take that as a follow-up action item then. If when you I think anybody here that's willing and able to review it, please take a look. But Max, if you could send a link to that to the list, and then we should, you know, unless anybody objects, I think we should add it to the primers list for how people can get oriented with understanding and grappling with the problems of multicast and multicast to the browser in particular. But I think so Max started writing this. It's intended as an introductory document to kind of get people oriented. So I think it would be a really good addition to our to the community group's list of primers that currently contains one entry that Chris Needham and I worked on a few months back. But I think having some more content in there to help people get started would be really good. Yeah, Dom, if you wanna volunteer as a guinea pig on that too, I don't know if you already have a pretty good background in multicast though, so maybe,
yeah, I can't promise my real technical abilities, but I'll have a go and I'll have a play.
No, it's that's fine, but sure. God, you're here twice. All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
I get kicked out every so often from the web interface, and then it takes WebEx a while to figure out that the old me disappeared. So,
Okay, interesting.
WebEx,
or perhaps WebRTC. I'm not using the web interface. I'm using the app. But interesting. All right. Let's see. Anything else we should go over? Let's see. Yeah. In terms of next steps, my main focus now is to try and get as far as I can on a quick demo implementation. So that's kind of my intended activity for the next month on this front. So I guess anyone else want to volunteer for activity? I don't know people's level of interest in trying to participate in that or get or do a I don't know, either testing or digging into the code with me. We could do a working session. We've done a couple of those before. If anybody's interested, I'd be happy to set one up. Otherwise, I'll just continue kind of hacking when I get a chance for it.
I mean, I would be interested. I just I want to make sure that it winds up being helpful for you, not just a demo for me, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, so you've been following Quick longer than I have. You might have good advice on what's going on, but I don't know. I don't know if anybody's dug into the Quick code base yet. That's here. Not really.
I would also be interested, but for me, like the hurdle is, I guess, the Chromium. I've never worked with the Chromium source before, so right, yeah. But as I told you last week, I read the quick draft and I took a lot of notes where I saw like conflicts with multicast, so I am happy to contribute that way at least. But yeah, I would be totally on board with testing it or helping you in any way that's actually helpful to you, as Kai said.
Cool. Yeah. Well. So I'm less troubled with whether if I spend an hour or 6 on a working session and the one day isn't helpful to me, but it gets you guys engaged and lands on something where you can contribute at the code level, then I'd be totally open to that. I think that would be. I mean, I kind of agree. I don't want to just like do a demo for you and that's the end of it. What I'd like is more like we end up in a good place in terms of like things where we have a concrete path forward and like things that we could each contribute to the thing, and it's not just an abstract, oh, I keep hacking on it and I haven't finished yet.
I mean, I mean, honestly, I'm happy to help. I have like more free time than I did 2 years ago, right? I mean, when I say free, I mean uncommitted time. I have more discretion over what I spend my time on. I'm relying on you, and maybe this is wrong, but this is what I'm doing. I'm relying on you to drive it. So I kind of, in some sense, want you to tell me what to do. What do you want me to work on? And I don't know if Max is the same way or if he's, has his own ideas about direction, but.
No, I agree with you, Kai. Jake would have to at least point me in the right direction on what to work on.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I knew what that was yet. But I will look for good ways to do that. Certainly, I think Max, I've given you some ideas on direction that are not really about the
not quick, yeah, but
not
yes.
really about the quick and browser stuff. Let's see.
So the thing is, right, if you want to focus on quick and you think that's like the most urgent, I'm happy to like abandon those things you pointed me to so far and focus on quick as well, if you think that's productive.
I would say actually getting active use more quickly is more important than the quick work. Like I said, that is superseding my quick work within Akamai when I get a deployment when I have the opportunity to spend time meaningfully moving forward the deployment of active use of real multicast, not just test multicast, right? Then that makes a bigger difference. So to me, the other stuff we've talked about is probably a better investment of time. The quick work is the important part for eventually landing in a browser. And I do think that that's an important thing to get to, but I think it comes behind making progress on deployment of real traffic, if that makes sense. So if you think that that will get you to the right place, then that's probably the first place to spend time when you can. And then as a second priority, like whenever there's like blocks or waiting or whatever, then that's kind of where I'm putting my time on. That's where I'm putting my time on the quick, because getting to where we have a viable proposal for is probably the second priority to me. So let's see.
Excuse me, I wanted to ask,
Yeah.
in which language do you want us to program the extension in Chromium, C++ or Rust? Because I don't have a lot of knowledge in Rust, but maybe I can learn it.
For Chromium, it would be C++.
Okay.
For Firefox, I think it would probably be Rust.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Chromium build, and the place that I'm starting, that I've been looking, is a C++, is the C++ side. I also have not yet used Rust. It's one of those things that's on my list, but I haven't got there yet.
You should be happy because you're never gonna want to use C++ after using Rust. So
I already never want to use C++ again. but it's, I mean, languages are. I mean, I shouldn't say I never want to use it again. It's better than JavaScript. Come on.
fair enough.
By the way, I'm also okay for a working session.
Great. So why don't we set one up then?
Make sure it's long enough.
Yeah. But we also want to be on Europe time. So I will set one up for, let's say in about 2 weeks, if that's all right, or should we do 1 week? I gotta check my calendar.
Well, yeah. See what people's, maybe send out a doodle. Like figure out how long we want to spend. Send out a doodle with some time slots, and we'll see what works out. I mean, I'm happy to get up early for something like this. I do my best software development in the early morning anyway. So.
All right. Yeah, I will.
I find the beer starts to affect the quality of the code later on. So.
Yeah. Fair enough. That makes sense. You know, but sometimes the hangover also can be an impact. So I need to make sure to sleep in long enough.
Just coffee will take care of that. No problem.
Anyway, yeah. So I will aim to put something on the calendar in a couple of weeks. I'll send out a doodle poll. I'm kind of thinking 4 hours, and we'll take breaks along the way, and we'll be, you know, we'll kick it off at the time. We'll plan to spend about 4 hours hacking on it, and we'll hope to end up with something reasonable at the end. That sounds great.
Also,
Yeah.
just at least I don't know about Leo, but from my side, you don't have to worry about starting so soon. Like European time, I'm fine with, you know, like our usual at 10 a.m. your time or something. Starting.
Yeah, same.
Fine with me.
Okay. I'll take that into account as well. I also am, you know, pretty good in the morning.
Jake, you could just stay up, right? Just start it at like 2 a.m. your time.
Sometimes. You know, it really depends. Like this whole concept of when sleeping begins and ends is really just, you know, it's not really. I found that on my home planet, days appear to be 26 3/4 hours long. Um, was what I measured when I just tried it. But so
Wait a
I'm
minute, you mean
never.
you did an experiment where you starved yourself of sunlight and saw what your natural rhythm was?
Uh, well, it wasn't really starved of sunlight. It was just seeing what my natural rhythm was. Go to
Huh.
sleep when I'm tired and wake up when I'm ready to wake up. And the answer was 26 3/4 hours. I've never felt better before or since. This was for basically a summer in college, and it was wonderful. But I've never been able to pull it off again. So anyway, that's minor note. But this is why my schedule varies around, as some of you may have seen. Um, anyway, great. Then I will set up the invite. I'll send it to the list and see if anybody else wants to participate. Also, I don't know if like Gavin Henry has been doing some work as well. I don't know if he'll want to dig in on this particular part, or we might have actions that we could look at in the lib in the multicast receiver as well. But I don't know if we'll end up doing that because the the UDP receive path in the quiche implementation is probably where we have to end up being um, to do the quick part. So it might be, well, we'll have to see. Um, but I will try to make some progress on that. But I'll plan to have about a 4 hour session in a couple of weeks and invite everyone and try to make it something that everyone can make it to. Great. Well, thank you very much. I'm excited for that. Working sessions are always fun. Okay, then. I think if that's it, then that's it. Anyone have anything else?
Nope.
Not from me. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chris, for taking notes. Thanks everyone for being here, and yeah, looking forward to our working session. Good to see you all. And end recording.